We're back for our daily college basketball best bets here on Saturday, March 28th. We are now on to the Elite Eight, and my goodness, what a day we had yesterday. We swept the board 4-0. We had a great day throughout all three of the videos we posted yesterday. We went undefeated, obviously, with our college basketball best bets yesterday. We had a positive day with both the NBA and the MLB, so we've been firing on all cylinders right now. But yesterday, with college basketball, a perfect 4-0 for us. How about those games, right? I mean, just big victories all around. Michigan beats up on Alabama. We see St. John's almost take down Duke, but ultimately the Blue Devils win the game. But didn't matter. We had the points on the Johnnies. UConn, like we've been expecting, is going to, or they did eliminate Michigan State. And how about Tennessee? We had them to cover against Iowa State. They won it outright. And again, what have we been saying all year long? The free throw shooting out of Iowa State's going to cost them a game. They shoot 60% from the free throw line against Tennessee, ultimately leading the Volunteers to the Elite Eight. So we go perfect yesterday. And again, not to pat myself on the back or anything here, but when we made our initial bracket prediction, I got 6 out of the 8 Elite Eight teams in here. Okay, the only ones we didn't get, I had Vanderbilt instead of Iowa, and I had Virginia instead of Tennessee. So it's not like I was picking, we had Florida to get in and Iowa State. Now we're off on a 5 seed and a 3 seed breaking into the Elite Eight, and we still have 3/4 of our Final Four alive and potentially our national championship game still alive. So this March Madness has been really great for us. Let's continue it today. Only obviously 2 games, but 2 massive games as the Fighting Illini of Illinois look to punch their ticket into the Final Four in a Big Ten matchup, and the Purdue Boilermakers and Arizona Wildcats go at it in the Shark Tank at the SAP Center, obviously in San Jose, California. So 2 massive games today. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily college basketball best bets here on the channel. We'll be back tomorrow, obviously, for the remaining 2 Elite Eight games tomorrow. So make sure you join us for that. Also in the channel later today, our MLB best bets. So they're dropping in 2 hours in the channel, and then later in the day as well, in 4 hours from now, our NBA best bets. So again, we had a positive day through all 3 sports, all 3 videos yesterday. You're not going to miss any of the content we've got going on the channel, plus the content over on Greedo Plays MMA. Today is UFC Seattle with Israel Adesanya and Joe Pyfer in the main event, again from the Pacific Northwest. And with the Professional Fighters League, we've got our PFL predictions. Johnny Eblin taking on Brian Battle, again from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So we've got a lot of stuff going on today in the wide world of sports. Make sure to go check out all of our content between the 2 channels. Hit that subscribe button down below on both Greedo Plays and Greedo Plays MMA. As we move now to the first of our 2 games today, I've been waiting for this one as the Illinois Fighting Illini take on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Give me Illinois by double digits. Guys, for as great as this run has been so far for Illinois, they still haven't caught fire from beyond the arc. That's the reason we took them. And don't get me wrong, I love the height of this team. I love the size that they have. That's great. And that was, they were very successful on the glass against VCU, against Houston, and they've held both VCU and Houston to exactly 55 points in the round of 32 and in the Sweet 16. That's great. Illinois is not known for their defense. This is a team that has the fastest paced offense in college basketball and the highest scoring offense in all of college basketball. And yet they still haven't got going in this tournament, and here they are a game away from the Final Four. It is a all Big Ten matchup, obviously, as the Iowa Hawkeyes, who are a 9 seed, get Illinois in the Elite Eight. These 2 teams did match up once in the regular season in Iowa City. The game was won by the Fighting Illini. Illinois got off to a hot start in the first half, never gave that lead up. Illinois was a very slight favorite going into the matchup, and obviously they come out of Iowa City with the victory. The Hawkeyes never led in that game. From, buzzer to buzzer, from end to end, the lead was in the hands of the Illinois Fighting Illini. Guys, they're going to do it again, and they are going to dominate Iowa tonight. Iowa, again, this run for Iowa has been phenomenal, obviously, right? Starting in the first round as a 9 seed, obviously, against the 8-seeded Clemson Tigers. They win by 6. They pull off the miracle upset against the Florida Gators, and they topple the Nebraska Cornhuskers just the other night in the Sweet 16. That's great. You haven't played a team like Illinois yet. And again, this Cinderella run's been great, but there's a reason why Illinois is the biggest favorite out of all 4 games that are being played in the Elite Eight. Not even Michigan versus Tennessee. No, the bigger favorite is legitimately the Fighting Illini. They are expected to go to the Final Four, and that's something that we've been expecting for a while. Again, I will continue to tell you, after I watched this team go to Mackey and win, after I saw Keaton Wagler go into Mackey and score 40 points and outduel Braden Smith, again, we will get to the Boilermakers later in the video, that's when I knew Illinois was going places this season, and that's exactly what they have done. And now here we go. Illinois is a game away from the Final Four, and you couldn't have scripted this any better for us, right? We didn't ultimately, when I first made my bracket, I didn't think Florida was going to reach the Elite Eight. I thought they were going to lose in the Sweet 16 to Vanderbilt, and I thought this was going to be Illinois and Vanderbilt in this spot. You know what matchup I like even better than Vandy? Iowa. Guys, at the beginning of the tournament, we told you that, Bennett Sturts is really great, obviously, right? Former Drake Bulldog, he has risen the ranks from Division II to Drake, now obviously with the Iowa Hawkeyes. We told you at the beginning of the tournament, Bennett Sturts can probably win you a game, and that's what ultimately was my decision making going into the Clemson matchup. I said, okay, yeah, Bennett Sturts is good enough to win you one game. He'll beat Clemson. Florida, we didn't expect Iowa to beat the Gators, but no one really did, and they get it done. And then Nebraska, who they beat as well, obviously in a rivalry matchup between two Big Ten schools. That's great. They've overstayed their welcome now. It's a great Cinderella run, if you want to call it a Cinderella. Obviously, I know Cinderellas are kind of reserved for mid-major programs, just like how Texas really wasn't a Cinderella, even though they were a double-digit seed, but they play in the Southeastern Conference. Just like Iowa, they're a 9 seed, but they play in the Big Ten. This is great. They've overstayed their welcome at this point. And I say that with the utmost respect. This is a fun team. Illinois is going to show the difference, though, between these two squads, and I believe this is going to be the night Illinois really catches fire from beyond the arc. Because we haven't entirely seen it yet, and they beat Houston in not the type of way you think it's going to be. I mean, that game goes into halftime, and Illinois is up 8 points with like 3 minutes to go in the first half, and Houston goes into the second half on a 6-0 run. It was a massive shift in that game, and at half the score is 24-22, and I'm like, all right, great, we have the lead, but again, that 6-0 run and just the low-scoring nature of it, you would have liked to go into halftime with the bigger lead. Regardless, they go to the halftime show, and the first thing that is said at the halftime show is, well, Illinois is on top, but if this doesn't feel like a Kelvin Sampson type game, then I don't know what it is. And that was what I was feeling too. I'm like, oh yeah, Illinois is winning for now, but this is the low scoring game that Houston wants to play. And then Illinois goes on a 17-0 run early in the second half, and Houston ultimately just couldn't come back from that. But again, efficiency-wise, it wasn't their best night for the Fighting Illini. Second half was great, and they had some big-time shots in that big run. But, I mean, Killian Boswell was non-existent from the field. Keaton Wagler had an awful start to that game, came on later in the matchup, but he really struggled in that first half. Killian Boswell missed some big-time free throws down the stretch, too. Obviously, Illinois, outlasts Houston in that game. They ultimately win it by 10, but they could have been a lot better. They could have been much better. And I understand Houston missed a lot of wide open three-point attempts in that game, and that's where, Iowa will get you. I know Iowa's a way lower seed, obviously, compared to the Houston Cougars, but that's what Iowa excels in, that three-point shot. If you give them wide open threes, they're going to knock them down. They will try to match Illinois in terms of shot volume from beyond the arc. Alvaro Figueres has had a phenomenal tournament, obviously the game winner against Florida, against Nebraska, 16 points on 6 of 7 from the field and 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Cooper Koch is going to try to hurt you from beyond the arc, along with obviously Bennett Sturts, who's not going to come off the court. I mean, Bennett Sturts plays all 40 minutes against Nebraska, plays all 40 minutes against Florida. I believe he played all 40 minutes against the Clemson Tigers as well. It's just what he does. He's on the court at all times. But they are going to make you pay from beyond the arc if you're not able to close out and if you aren't able, obviously, to get a hand in their face. The thing is, I think Illinois is going to be a lot more locked in defensively in this matchup because they know where Iowa can hurt them and where really Iowa's looking to hurt them. That's going to be from beyond the arc. In terms of pure rebounding in this game, this is why I love Illinois so much and why I've put so much confidence in this team in this tournament. Yeah, they will easily be able to out-rebound Iowa. Any 50-50 board is going to go to the Fighting Illini. And again, I've said this so many times. That's what I like about this team. They have size and their bigs are all stretches. David Mirkovic is a 4 who can play a point forward role if you need him to as well, but he's 6'9", a freshman out of Montenegro, and he had 10 rebounds against Houston. He's a great rebounder. How about both Ivasics, the twins, Zvonimir and Tomislav? Tomislav 7'1", again, from Croatia. He can get rebounds if you need to, or it'll be Mirkovic, or it will be his brother off the bench, and Zvonimir Ivasic. And how about Andreas Stojakovic? I mean, Andreas Stojakovic is brought into Illinois to be one of their best players. I'll be honest, he has not been that this year. He's been, obviously in a bench role. Obviously was phenomenal last season. At California, obviously, son of Peja Stojakovic. In this tournament, he's been such a difference maker, and this is what we thought we were going to get early in the year out of Andreas Stojakovic. He scores 21 points against VCU and then 13 against Houston. It's the all-around effort plays they are currently getting out of Stojakovic that is legitimately changing games for the Illini. And I've talked about, again, the bigs. I've talked about Stojakovic And how about the two guards? Killian Boswell and Keaton Wagler both did not play well against Houston, yet their team still won by 10 points. Keaton Wagler had 12 rebounds, and that's the thing. Even Keaton Wagler, who's one of their guards, he's a big guard, do not get me wrong, he's 6'6", plays the 2. He's a phenomenal rebound getter as well, and he obviously led them in points this season with 18 points per game. They are so dangerous, they can get you everywhere, and they still haven't caught fire from beyond the arc in this tournament. Except for like the UPenn game, but that doesn't really count. Well, it does, but you know what I mean. They are going to dominate Iowa today. I don't think the game's competitive, guys. This is a levels game in my opinion. Again, the run for Iowa has been great. It has. You beat a Florida team that obviously was expected to go far in this tourney. Obviously, we thought they were going out in the Sweet 16. Again, Iowa eliminated them around before we thought it was going to happen, but that's neither here or there. Great win over Florida. Awesome. Clemson, okay. Nebraska. Yeah, again, none of those teams have had to, fight through the games that Illinois has had to fight through. In all fairness, it's just one I'm talking about. It's Houston. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better win for the Illini. And I told you, again, and I hope I'm right. We'll see. Jury's still out on this one. But I said it going into that Illinois versus Houston game. I said, okay, I think the winner of this game is winning the entire tournament. And guys, if Houston got out of that one, I would have told you, yes, I think Kelvin Sampson's team can win the entire thing. I think Kingston Flemings is a phenomenal basketball player. He's going to be great in the NBA this season. Trust me. Illinois beats that team, and they beat him by 10. And I know they beat VCU, they beat Pennsylvania, and Iowa had to go through Clemson and Florida in the first rounds. That's awesome. Illinois is going to be fine in this game. Iowa has specialized in winning the close games so far in this tournament. They beat the Clemson Tigers by 6 points. They beat the Florida Gators, obviously, by 1 with the Alvaro Figueres corner 3 to win the game. They beat Nebraska by 6, but I mean, that is a back-and-forth game. And Iowa got big stop after big stop down the stretch. I mean, Nebraska goes 5 minutes down the stretch from minute 7, from the final 7 to final 2 minutes of that game. The Huskers don't score a point. And that was massive, obviously, and it shifted the tide for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Illinois is not going to go that long without scoring. They're too good of an offensive unit. I'm saying, again, they've made it so far in this tournament, and they're in the Elite Eight. And we thought, again, when I originally picked them, and I've been so confident with them all tournament long, but when I originally picked them doing the entire thing on Selection Sunday, I said, okay, they just need to get hot. And we're going to rely on the fact that Illinois can get going from beyond the arc, and they're going to be, running against every single team, and no one can keep up with their pace. And that's why I like Illinois, because it's March. They catch fire. They're difficult to stop. They haven't even caught fire yet. We know they're capable of it, because we saw it in the UPenn game, but obviously the VCU game played well, still won by 20 points. VCU couldn't score. But we have not seen this team to shoot lights out yet from beyond the arc. Voila, it is here tonight. It is. Iowa, again, they've played some really low-scoring games this season. Obviously, the Nebraska one, the one in Iowa City comes to mind. At the same time, too, let's not forget, Iowa was a 10-10 team in the Big Ten in the regular season. And I get it. It's March. Things are different now. The way you approach games in March are way different, obviously, than you approach games in February and whatnot, and even conference play in general. Again, this is a 50-50 team in the Big Ten, and it remains kind of on par. They beat Nebraska. That's the first Big Ten game they play in this tournament. They're going to lose the second Big Ten game they play in this tournament. I love the Illini in the spot, and don't get me wrong, Iowa's got some really great players. Again, we have talked about how great Bennett Sturtz is. He plays every single minute on the court. I will keep telling you, I believe Bennett Sturtz is such an underrated on-ball defender. Seriously, he is. Alvaro Figueres has had such an impact off the bench for this team. He's had games earlier in the season where he starts. He's now on the bench, but he's providing such a big impact, and the second most major impact for this team, again, coming off the bench. Cooper Koch is a three-point threat. Tavian Banks, former Drake Bulldog alongside Bennett Sturtz, he can score too. Tate Sage has had a massive impact off the bench. Tate Sage against Nebraska, against some good bigs, and Rink Mast and Braden Frager. Sage, 29 minutes, 19 points, 8 rebounds. And again, Iowa's bigs can expand the court and shoot the threes, especially Tate Sage. He's their guy. He's 6'7". Obviously, he's going to be a little undersized compared to, David Mirkovic and even obviously both Eva 6, especially Tomislav. But Tate Sage forces you to guard the perimeter, and that's why I like so much about Illinois. I mean, again, Mirkovic only goes 2 for 6 against Houston from beyond the arc. Ivasic goes 1 for 3. Zvonimir goes 0 for 1. But all of their bigs can stretch the court. And you have to pick up on everyone outside the perimeter. And they're just such a dangerous squad. And even the bench guys, again, there's only 3 guys that are going to come off this Illinois bench. It's Andreas Stojakovic is going to play the most. It's going to be Zvonimir Ivasic, and it's going to be Ben Hummerkaus. Hummerkaus, obviously, a turnover from last season. All of those guys are going to be able to shoot the ball. Everyone that starts can shoot the ball. The worst shooter, arguably, might be Killian Boswell. Again, I don't know, percentage-wise, it's not the case, but just feels right now, like in terms of how we're, getting a sense of this tournament, Boswell might be the worst shooter on the team right now. And that's, again, that's nothing against Boswell. It's just everyone else is, playing slightly better than him so far in this tourney. But again, this is my point. They've gotten to this point, and Boswell and Wagler haven't even been that great yet. Iowa, I believe, needs a near-perfect game. And Illinois, I get it. They're pure defensively speaking, are they the best? I don't know. And even the Houston game where, they hold the Houston Cougars to 55 points. Pure defensively speaking, are they phenomenal? I don't know about that. But Houston misses their shots, and Illinois makes sure to keep them off the second chance opportunities. And that first half was an awfully officiated half as well. And Illinois obviously deals with that adversity, and ultimately they win the game. I like Illinois a lot in this spot, guys. They are way more talented than Iowa, and I believe they cover. I think Illinois is going to make this one look easy. I do believe, again, this has been a great run so far in this tournament. Do not get me wrong for the Hawkeyes, but eventually it's going to catch up to them, and that's exactly this is where it ends right now. Illinois just got way too many guys in the court that can score against Iowa, and I just don't think the Hawkeyes are able to keep up. Again, I don't want to put too much into the only matchup these two teams have played back on January 11th. But if it means anything, right, Illinois wins the game by 6 points on the road. Keen Wagler led them in scoring with 19. Mirkovic had 12 rebounds and 5 assists in that game as well. And again, Illinois never trailed on the road at Iowa City. They kicked the game off with a 3 from Andreja Stojakovic, and they did not look back from there. Iowa went on their runs. They cut it to a 5-point game late in the second half, but actually they cut it to 4 late in the second half, but ultimately who wins the contest? Obviously, it's the Fighting Illini. I mean, again, we're going to keep rolling with this team. I don't think it's all that competitive. I legitimately think Illinois is going to go into halftime up about 10, and I think they completely just dominate this team in the second half. We've been riding with the Illini this far, and obviously we're going to keep riding with them here. So Illinois beats the Iowa Hawkeyes. I love the spot for Illinois, man. Minus 6.5 points. They should be able to win this game by 7. But again, if you tailed it with us early in the March Madness cycle, we told you to take them to win the national championship, and we told you to take them to make the Final Four, and we are 1 game away from realizing those Final Four odds. At, what was it, plus 350 we had it at when the tournament bracket was made. Now let's go in and cash in, obviously, on them to win the national championship at, I believe, plus 2,300 I got it at. Plus 2,200 I got it at. So yeah, let's cash in on that in just 2 more games. But going to the Final Four, the Illinois Fighting Illini take down a great team. Bennett Sturts, Tavian Banks, Alvaro Figueres. I get it. But yeah, this is the Fighting Illini's year, not just to make the Final Four, but win the entire thing. And oh, by the way, did I mention they beat Houston in Houston? Yeah, this team's got all their momentum. They are going to take down the Iowa Hawkeyes. And also, I will say, I feel like Iowa also put everything into beating Nebraska. That's their rival. They did not want to lose that game to the Cornhuskers because, well, I mean, it's Nebraska in basketball. You can't lose to that team. And Iowa got by them. Now you got to sell in and play a team that's much better than Nebraska. Yeah, good luck. Illinois going to the Final Four. On to our second game of the day now at the SAP Center, obviously in San Jose, California. We've got the Big Tens, Purdue Boilermakers, taking on the Big 12s, Arizona Wildcats. Again, I know this might be the boring pick, but I'm taking another favorite here. I'm going to go Arizona minus 5.5 to advance and take down the Purdue Boilermakers. Again, if you remember at the beginning of the tournament cycle, we picked a national championship game, and I took Illinois to beat Arizona in the Natty. I still believe that's what's going to happen. Now, don't get me wrong, right? Would I mind if Arizona loses in the Final Four to, I don't know, Tennessee? No, I wouldn't mind at all. I hope it happens, right? I hope Tennessee winds up against Illinois in the national championship game. It's the easiest possible matchup for us. But I think Arizona is going to handle Purdue in this spot. I believe so. Purdue, a very competitive game against Texas, and I was wrong about Arizona and Arkansas. I'm not going to deny that. It just shows you how good the Wildcats are, right? And there's a reason, obviously, I took them to go to the national championship game. We are set in stone, obviously, with the Illini, but I'm not going to lie to you, right? If I had to hedge it, that's not really, if I had to pick a second team to win the Natty, I'm taking the Wildcats. Like, obviously, again, like I mentioned earlier, I hope this team loses to a perfect world Tennessee in the Final Four because I don't want Illinois to play Arizona. I think they can beat them, but obviously I don't care how they get it done. For all I care, I wish that Illinois played Long Island University in the national championship game, right? Like, again, it doesn't matter how you get there as long as you win the entire thing. So, again, Arizona is a good basketball team. They're great. And the fact of the matter is they are able to put up 110 points in Arkansas, who I understand is not the best straight-up defensive team. But the fact that they put up 110 on that squad, and Arizona is a team that has struggled to score, I don't want to say struggle to score, but they aren't the highest scoring team. They haven't struggled to score. They haven't struggled to do much this season, obviously being 36 and 2, 35 and 2. It's absurd. The fact they put up 110 on Arizona is crazy. And again, you know the name of the game for Arizona. They don't shoot threes. They average less than 10 3-point attempts per game. And don't get me wrong, when they attempt those 3-point shots, they do knock them down. Arkansas obviously shoots way more 3-pointers than Arizona does. They shot 3 times the 3-pointers that Arizona shot in the Sweet 16 in San Jose. Guess what? They both hit the same amount of 3-pointers in the game. It's crazy. Arkansas hit 5 on 23 attempts. Arizona hit 5 on 8 attempts. Again, that's not Arizona's game. Braden Burries is going to attempt a couple. Del Orso is obviously their big 3-point shooter off of the bench. And that's kind of it. Jaden Bradley can attempt the 3-point ball, but all these guys want to work downhill. They all want to attack the basket, and they're all looking for easy buckets. And yeah, the 3-point game just is not what they want to do. They're trying to go in there. They're trying to draw fouls inside. They're trying to create contact. They're trying to go to the charity stripe. And well, they were pretty successful against Arkansas. They went to the line 39 times against the Razorbacks, ultimately hitting on 30 of those 39 free throw attempts. This team is just really good, and they play really well defensively as well. I understand, Arkansas scored 88. Considering the way that Darius Acuff and that Arkansas team had been playing down the stretch, that's impressive. And again, it's more impressive that Arizona scored 109, and even more impressive, obviously, they won the game by 21 points. But the way Arkansas had been playing offensively, Arizona, I get it, gives up 43 points in one half, 45 in the other. And again, the offensive thing is way more impressive than what they did defensively. But again, I don't think it's a bad defensive night. Arkansas, great at creating shots, great at drawing contact, getting to the free throw line. Darius Acuff's a top 5 player in college basketball this season. Obviously, Arkansas won the SEC. It was SEC champions versus Big 12 champions for a reason. And Arizona dispatches of that team. They beat them by 21 points. I mean, again, if that's not impressive, I don't know what is. So this team is great, obviously. And right now, they feel like by far the best team in the tournament. Again, I love Illinois. I still think Illinois is going to win the entire thing. I think stylistically, by the way, I think Illinois matches up really well with Arizona. That goes back into my thing of, okay, they need to catch fire. They need to get going from beyond the arc. And I believe, again, I am very confident Illinois is making the national championship game. It's just, can they beat Arizona is going to be the question. I believe they can. I'm hoping Tennessee gets Arizona. I'm just going to tell you that. Again, I think Illinois is going to win it regardless. It's just I'd much rather see, okay, here comes Nate Ament, and here comes, Felix Okpara and Jacoby Gillespie of Tennessee. They're playing great basketball. They eliminated Iowa State, but I'm way less scared about that team than I am of Arizona. I cannot lie. Hell, at this point, I think I'd take Michigan over Arizona. I easily would rather play Michigan over. Would I? Maybe not. Honestly, I might rather play Arizona. Regardless, if Illinois is going to win the national championship game, they likely can't win 165-55 like they did against Houston. They just got to get out and start hitting a bunch of threes. Again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I feel very confident we will be talking yet again about the Illini next Saturday, obviously, in the Final Four in Indianapolis. And by the way, too, hey, they get that in Indianapolis. I know, it's 3.5 hours away from Urbana-Champaign. We'll take that, especially if Purdue's not involved anymore, and potentially if Michigan's not involved anymore. We'll take it. But anyways, Arizona versus Purdue. Yeah, I don't know how Purdue keeps up with this squad, I'll be honest with you. They play a nail-biter against Texas, and Texas had a great tournament run. Do not get me wrong, guys. If Texas were to play Arizona would be a 14.5-point favorite, I think. At least 9.5 at the very least. Regardless, Arizona would have been a big favorite if that game actually happened. Obviously in the tourney, right? Arizona's just on a great run, and again, they attack the basket like no other. Braden Burries leads them in scoring against Arkansas. He had 23 points on 7-11 from the field. Again, he's one of the few guys that are going to attempt a little bit, or some 3-point shots. But Burries, 23 points on 7 of 11 from the field and 7 of 8 from the free throw line. Again, 2 for 4 from beyond the arc. How about Koa Pete? Obviously, one of the most talented freshmen in the country right now. Koa Pete, who averaged 14 points in the regular season, goes out and scores 21 points on 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 8 of 11 from the field. So again, you get both freshmen in Burries and Pete who lead them in scoring. And then, okay, here comes Ivan Karachenov, their other freshman from Germany, who's averaging 10 points per game, puts up 15 against Arkansas. And then, okay, how about their big in Krivas? Krivas has 14 points on 6 of 9 from the field. Again, just attacking the basket. Well, he's not really attacking anything. He's just standing underneath it. He's 7-2, right? And then, okay, beyond those guys, here comes Jaden Bradley, who didn't have a great game against Arkansas, but Bradley, the most experienced player by far in the starting lineup, former Alabama Crimson Tide, who averaged 13 points per game in the regular season, puts up 14 against the Razorbacks. Off their bench, again, you're going to see likely it's a 7-man rotation for the most part. They might mix in a little bit, but Toby Awaka and Anthony Del Orso are the only two guys who really are difference makers off the bench. Del Orso, I will say again, is their spark plug off the bench. If they need a three, they're going to go to Del Orso in that situation. He hit both the threes he attempted against Arkansas. Again, Del Orso, senior year out of Australia, had a massive role with the Campbell Fighting Camels a couple seasons ago and started last year at Arizona, but is now just in a bench role. Production actually has gone up though, even though he's been a bench player. 3-point wise, those percentages are down. But regardless, he's a very good 3-point shooter and a guy that they can rely on. And obviously Toby Awaka, a big coming off their bench, averaging 9 and 9 in the regular season, former Tennessee Volunteer, obviously now with the Wildcats of Arizona. Yeah, they're a complete team and they don't shoot threes, and that's why, again, stylistically, I'm like, okay, I don't mind the Illinois matchup. Like, I think Illinois can beat them because Illinois has to make it a track meet. And I get it. Oh, well, what if, Arizona's attacking the basket all game long? What if they go to their bigs? Okay, that's why Mirkovic is on Illinois. That's why, they have the entire EuroLeague on that team with Ivasic, both of them. I mean, how they can play big. Illinois can play big if they need to, and they have the size to beat these teams. So that's why, again, I don't love the matchup. I'd rather that be I don't know if I'd rather be Michigan, but I'd rather be Tennessee. Hell, I'd rather it be Purdue, obviously. I'd love if Purdue won this game, I'll be honest with you. If, from a non-betting perspective, from an Illinois perspective, I hope Purdue wins the game. I'm just going to, I'm going to pick the smart one. I'm going to pick the smart option, though, and say, yeah, Arizona's probably going to blow them out. Again, this seems loaded from top to bottom. They don't really attempt threes, but they attack the basket, and you need to be really physical and really big and not foul a lot if you're going to beat them. Purdue turned into a team that was attacking the basket nonstop against Texas late in that game because their three-point shot was not falling against the Longhorns. Texas went on their prolonged runs throughout that game in San Jose. Purdue ultimately wins the game by 2 points. Obviously, Braden Smith misses the game-winning layup, but there is Trey Kaufman-Renn to bump it or bat it back in, obviously into the cylinder, and Purdue wins the game by 2 points at the buzzer, essentially. And Texas had like 0.4 seconds left, 0.5 seconds left. Purdue's a big team, don't get me wrong. I mean, Oscar Kluff's had a pretty good tournament, obviously. He saw his minutes, obviously. Jacobson was, cutting into his minutes at the end of the regular season. Jacobson basically is not playing in the NCAA tournament because Kluff has just been better. And they're looking at, they're playing both Kluff and Kaufman-Renn at the same time. Those are your bigs. I think they're a little overmatched. I think they are overmatched by Arizona. I think, unfortunately for Kluff, I think he's way overmatched in this specific spot today. And obviously you get the guard play out of both Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith, two experienced guards in this team alongside CJ Cox. Off their bench, Jack Benter is going to play. He's going to hoist up threes, and Omer Mayer is going to come into the game and chuck up threes as well. That's really what they do. 7-man rotation. Jacobson's not going to play. I don't think Jakari Harris is going to play much this game. It's going to be pretty much a 7-man rotation for Purdue. They should be matching Arizona in terms of an overall bench depth for this game. Again, the problem Purdue has, though, is they're going to fall into an Arizona style of game here where I don't think Purdue's 3-point shots are going to hit. They need a phenomenal game at a Fletcher Lawyer tonight. They need a phenomenal game at a Braden Smith. To beat Arizona, you just need to outshoot them. It's that simple because they're going to get their buckets down low. They're going to attack the basket. Their bigs are just that talented. Obviously, again, Koa Pete, Krivas and company, those guys are great. You need to be able to get this team into a shootout, and you need to, again, shoot over their heads all game long and just play. I don't want to say a perfect 40 minutes, but you need to play really effective 40 minutes. The two teams to beat Arizona this year came in back-to-back games. Obviously, one in Allen Fieldhouse in Kansas, and obviously at home they lost to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Flory Badunga was massive in the game where Kansas beat number 1 ranked undefeated Arizona. Badunga had 23 and 10. You need your big to have a night like that. With all due respect to Oscar Kluff, he's not going to have a night like Flory Badunga had against Arizona. How did Texas Tech beat Arizona? JT Toppin at 31 and 13. I'm not telling you Tomislav Ivasic's going to have a game like JT Toppin did, or hell, even Flory. Well, no, he can put up a Flory Badunga type stat line. Even Mirkovic can too. I don't think Oscar Kluff's capable of that, and I don't think Trey Kaufman-Renn is going to dominate the boards in this game. Scoring-wise, Kaufman-Renn's going to put up his typical 20 points like he's always done in this tournament throughout the many years he's played in this thing, especially just the last two, obviously. Didn't really dominate the Edey year because Zach Edey was just different for college basketball, but don't get me wrong, right? I just don't know if Kaufman-Renn's able to control the glass in that game, and ultimately that's where I believe Arizona's going to take over the game. No second chance opportunities for Purdue, and that creates, on the O boards for Arizona, now they're getting their second chance looks. They're getting, multiple opportunities at the rim. And if you give this team too many opportunities inside, they're eventually going to score. Again, this team has not lost since they lost at home to Texas Tech. That was a tough game for them, obviously, and, JT Toppin had a phenomenal game, but that was a game where Arizona needed to kind of rely on Toby Awaka because Koa Pete got hurt, halfway into the first half? And Awaka ended up playing 37 minutes in that contest, and it was just a brutal night for Arizona, a game that Texas Tech outlasts them in overtime. You need to play, again, you don't need to play a perfect game against Arizona, but you need to play a near perfect game against the Wildcats right now. And again, if I had to, again, I think Illinois is still winning it. I think so. But my number 2 team is Arizona. And there's a reason, again, I put this team in the national championship. And I believe, again, I picked them and I still believe it. I think Illinois is going to beat them in the national championship game. But yeah, I would not mind if Tennessee got them. But that would require, obviously, Tennessee to beat Michigan tomorrow. And we'll cross that bridge when we get there, because we've got 2 phenomenal games tomorrow as well. But today, yeah, I like Arizona to put an ass beating on Purdue. I just don't think Purdue has that great of a 3-point night in them. And let's not forget, Texas was really winning down low. Not dominating, but they were able to get to the basket quite a bit against Purdue. I think it's a tough matchup for them, man. Texas had a lot of success. Purdue limited modest, they did. Their center, obviously, for the Longhorns, but Texas was able to get looks, obviously, when they drove and when they went downhill. That's all Arizona's going to do to you. I mean, again, once every blue moon, yeah, they will kick it out and shoot that 3-point ball. And usually when they shoot it, because, again, they're so particular in the 3-point shots they attempt, they're probably going to hit it. But I just think what they do inside and what they do to attack the paint, what they do in the paint is just going to be way too much for the Purdue Boilermakers in the spot. And if anything as well, I mean, I can't expect a big crowd for this game in San Jose, because the cheapest ticket to get in this thing and the nosebleeds is $130, and it's going to be completely empty at the second deck, but the lower bowl is obviously going to be filled. And what is it going to be filled with? Arizona fans. Arizona's, it's still a trip, but it's a 90-minute plane ride over from 2-hour to 90-minute plane ride over from Phoenix or Arizona over to San Jose. Obviously, Indianapolis or West Lafayette to San Jose is way more of a trip, and this will be an Arizona-dominated crowd. I like the Wildcats to win this contest, and I do like them to cover as well. Even though they're not as big of favorites as the Illini are, I do like the Arizona Wildcats to beat the Purdue Boilermakers and cover the 5.5 points. Folks, thank y'all for watching our college basketball best bets here on March 28th. If you have not yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you disagree with any of the picks. We'll be back tomorrow for more daily college basketball best bets with 2 more Elite 8 games between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Michigan Wolverines, along with a huge 1-2 matchup, obviously, between the Duke Blue Devils and the UConn Huskies. So, folks, thank y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. And Mamba, forever.